Hey there, so today we have another review. This one I'm really excited for. Well, also, I'm excited about this one. This one's Buc-ee's. If you guys don't already know, there's like regional specialties out there. New York has like bodegas and like really good New York pizza. Here in Florida, we have Publix, supermarket chain. In Texas, and I guess Daytona as well, there's a chain called Buc-ee's. Just ginormous, ginormous. You gotta have to Google it. This is like, I didn't actually get to go. I'll visit when I'm in Fort Worth in Texas, but for the advanced restaurant exam, but it's just the biggest gas station you could ever imagine. And then like the store for the gas station is the size of a Walmart, selling gas station goodies and all kinds of other stuff. So really cool. But this one's Garde. Somehow they sent Garde down here, you know, world class, at least, yeah, I mean, for American sour beers, world class for American sour beer, at least in that realm, I'd argue. Garde out of Tillamook, Oregon. Spontaneous stuff that's absolutely cool, and they sent some beers down here. So shout out to Dustin, who actually went out of the way to pick it up at it from GB's, because by the time I would have had time to pick it up, I don't think I would have been able to get any. So thank you, Dustin. So this is the Maison spontaneous wild ale oak, aged in oak barrels, blended 3 years, 5.5%. Also, the other cool thing about their stuff is that it's like very well reasonably priced, at least like at the brewery. But even this at retail was like $20. So for $7.50 of like sour barrel aged mixed fermentation beer, I don't think that's very unreasonable. Let's see this guy. This is not my wine key, by the way. This is Katie's. Do I know how to use this guy? I just look like an idiot. Oh, obviously, there you go. It is a 2-notch. There we go. Okay, there we go. Light on this. Okay. Let's see. Cool thing. Before I moved down here, someone actually was able to send me a bunch of beer at cost from Garde, so I reviewed a bunch of them. They like blew me away. Absolutely awesome stuff. So that was really cool. And yeah, I mean, I have the reviews on the channel. You can just literally look up Garde on the channel. You find a bunch of those. And the fruited ones, like some of those are just some of the best sour beers I've had of that year and in that era of like, yeah. So really exciting. Beer, okay, it's got a good amount of color to it, right? For I guess their take on, I mean, I guess Goose does, like, this is not methyl nutritional, so they don't call it Goose or American or Goose style or anything like that. It is spontaneous wild beer, blended from 3 years. Generally with Goose, you're going to have stock of 1, 2, 3-year-old, and then Eau de Goose has even, I think, some more older stock in it. So beer comes in a medium gold color. Has a good amount of haze to it, actually. Wow, yeah. Medium haze to that guy. Not too much head creation on that. On the nose. Wow. So, a lot going on. First thing, it smells like apricots, nectarines. Big stone fruit character for something that's not fruited, by the way. I get the tart yogurty thing. I get like dirty socks, leather. It's a little bit stinky for sure. I get a little bit of the acetic kind of vinegary character too. What else do we get? But this rich amount of fruit. I mean, I get like pluots, plums, apricot, all the stone fruit. Like it's that tartness and fruity sweet quality. Tons of stone fruit character. Maybe a little bit of white grape. A little bit of that kind of like Brett character that I get from the Hill Farmside beers. Like it's just like this lightly kind of like watery pond thing, like, you know, it just smells wet. A little bit of that kind of thing that people get, like they smell the rain, like sort of hit, but also just like, yeah, pondish. Cheers. Okay, so Dustin was right. This is quite oaky. Very oaky. You don't smell it, but man, that is like sucking on a wood chip. So despite the nose, it is not as sour as I thought it would have been. I would also argue it's inappropriate for like comparison to Goose, because Goose just doesn't have as much oak character. I'm assuming they're using American oak, pronouncing that kind of like strong tannic structure, promoting it from the American wood. Probably, you know, maybe a first use, or I don't know. They have foeders. They probably have like first or second use wine barrels, but like from what I understand, the Belgian examples probably use like French oak or Hungarian or something that's like closer to the region of, you know, where they make their beer. And the non-American oak just doesn't offer as much like wood character. So yeah, the noticeable wood character, it's very dilly. Wow. Yeah. which has this like with the light acetic has this like light pickly character, which is quite nice. But it is a little bit like sometimes it's like woody tannic, but this is like almost leaning towards astringent on like how dry it is from the wood. The acidity is actually not that strong, but it's quite pretty. Follows with that kind of stone fruit character. I still follow through on the palate with kind of like apricots, plum, plum skin, plum flesh, and wood. A lot of oak. Wow, there's so much oak on this guy. Oh. Wow. Dustin actually got to try this on draft before picking it up for me, and he also got a grab bottle, but he said he just disliked it. I can see why. I mean, if you don't like wood, like this is, I mean, I'm having a hard time like really enjoying this product because of that issue. But I mean, so what I love about these beers sometimes is that like they're just so elegant and pretty, and like who needs to share for $7.50? I'm gonna sit here and enjoy the whole guy. This has got to be a bottle share beer. I mean, I'm obviously gonna enjoy it, and it's not obviously not drinkable. But this is not one of those where like, hey, sign me up for $7.50. Like I'm like, okay, I sort of wish I shared this guy. But it still has a nice place. Leathery up front, has that like aqueous, like not aqueous, but like that funky water Brett thing that I get sometimes from beers. It's like you taste more water than you would in some other beers, and I think that's the Brett making this kind of like. It's hard to describe when like, you know, when you have a sense of water and like streams and ponds and rain and all that stuff. And it somehow the Brett tricks your palate into thinking that could just be one of those like life experience things where it's like, sometimes you could sort of directly translate tasting notes to people. Cause like, yeah, you've eaten an orange before. You've had like a clementine or a plum before, but some of those are like life experiences that are not very easy to translate. It's got a little bit of this yogurty thing, a little bit of the acetic, a little bit of that kind of funky bombity kind of thing going on as well. But yeah, leather, dusty. It tastes a little bit old too. The 3-year-old, like sort of like, it doesn't taste like a young, you know, sprightly beer. It has that kind of like age and like dirty. That's the thing. It's like, it's got this dirtiness to it. A little bit of elegance, definitely some complexity. And then you have the wood. It has this dryness to it. The dill comes in, that kind of like sucking on like just wood, like wood chips, and just like, you know, imagine just like getting a piece of like pine and just like chewing on it, you know, like a little bit of that. But obviously I think it's oak barrels that they're using. So interesting. Yeah, I honestly would have tried to find a way to blend down that woody character. Yeah, to blend it down. I think you could certainly blend it down. And then maybe in the future blends, like look into using the barrels more to extract more of the wood. So ideally in the future, you get less of that prominent wood character. Interesting. But then again, it's a 3-year-old product. So it's you need, you know, like you're looking for complexity, right? When you have 3-year-old beer, you have all this going on and the wood just like is another layer on top of it. Fun. Yeah, and it's crazy. Again, the Garde. They literally shipped it down here. You can buy it at the store at retail. Lasted probably half a week only, but it's crazy. I mean, just when people ask, what do you think about Florida? I will have to say, that's maybe one of the best things about Florida. Like, we get some distribution down here. You guys had seen me review, like, Finback and Equilibrium and Other Half and Hudson Valley and all these fun breweries I'm like so used to from up north. And geez, I don't even know if New York City got the Garde. So we got the Garde here, you know. Otherwise, I actually, you know, had to pay somebody to go to the brewery and ship it to me. I have to pay them for the beer, obviously, but like, you know, otherwise, how I would have gotten there, I would have to try to trade for it, which I don't really do, which I haven't done in years, or I would have to go to like Oregon, right? So that's really cool. That's really, really cool. In hindsight, I do wish I picked one of the other fruit variants, because I think it was this one and then like 3 fruit variants, and I went with the 3-year-old age one, but still very tasty stuff. You guys have heard enough from me. That's our rating. So, what is it? It's a beautiful sipper. Complexity's there. Drinkability is pretty good. I I mean, I like complex stuff like this. I love giving credit to, even though like it's not the greatest example. 90, 92. Let's go with the 92. And like, this is a brewery that I'm used to like giving like 96, 97, 98. So 92, The Maison. Again, if you're not a wood guy, definitely stay away. If you don't like oak, definitely stay away. But what an elegant, pretty little sipper. And as you wait more, your palate sort of acclimates to the wood. And honestly, a really tasty drinking beer. The one thing really, honestly, that surprises me is how little acidity there is to this beer. It's like tart at best, which sometimes, you know, I think like people want goose or like spontaneous aged beer, especially in the Belgian tradition, they want it, like, you know, sour. They want sour. Like, this is not that. It's just really fun, pretty, like wood and Brett and other bacteria and like some amount of acidity, but yeah, that's a spontaneous element. Like, you get the whole spectrum of like different flavors offered from the microflora of that area of Tillamook, and with the complement of, you know, aging, wood, cool shipping, you know, microflora, you get this really pretty thing that tells a story about like a place that is not, you know, the Pays land in Belgium making goose. It is Oregon. This is what their product tastes like. So honestly, it's growing on me. So 92, very good rating. The Maison de Garde. Thank you, Dustin, for picking this one up. I'm going to sit down and enjoy this guy. Cheers.